Alright, so the first Shazam movie was easily the most surprising movie of the newer DC era for me, and definitely in a good way. I thought it was hilarious. The humor style was slightly different than the usual sarcastic superhero movie humor. Don't get me wrong, it still had plenty of that, but there was like more actual jokes as well, I thought. I remember at the time feeling kind of similarly about it as I did to Ant-Man 1, where it was like, okay, this is the franchise that's going to be closer to pure comedy with some occasional serious notes, rather than being largely serious with occasional humor, like most superhero movies had been since the release of Iron Man 1. Unfortunately, also similarly to the Ant-Man franchise, the sequel here just didn't really feel successful in recreating what I liked about the first one. The funniest part of the first one for me was definitely Freddy, played by Jack Dylan Grazer. Fortunately, he's still pretty good here. For sure not as many great moments as the first movie, but still definitely some good ones. Other than that though, there really wasn't too much that worked well in this sequel if I'm being honest. The whole tone of the movie just felt a little off from the first one. Like I said, Shazam 1 really felt like it was primarily a comedy to me, and this one just sort of toned that back a bit and felt more serious, which was kind of a problem at times because, to be real, Zachary Levi is just a better comedic actor than serious actor. But even there, he really wasn't even that funny in this movie compared to the first. A lot of the jokes were sort of more leaning back towards that traditional superhero sarcastic quip type of thing. And maybe I'm just not remembering it right, but it really just didn't feel that way in Shazam 1 to me. It felt more like, I don't know, actual humor. I also felt like they definitely had an opportunity in this movie to expand a bit more on the rest of the Shazam team or whatever they're called. Like in the first one, none of them really got any character development or anything, but it was totally fine because they really only showed up at the end of the movie. But in this one, they're pretty much there the whole time, but none of them apart from Billy or Freddy really get any depth to them or anything. Most of the supporting characters here literally have like one trait about them, and that's pretty much it. Again, maybe I'm remembering it too fondly here because I was laughing so much more, but man, I swear the CGI in this movie also looked worse than the first one. It's not always bad. The one daughter of Atlas who has the movement powers, that actually looked pretty slick, I thought. But there were definitely some other times where it was noticeably looking kind of janky. The villain situation for superhero movies is getting pretty dire at this point, honestly. Like, we've gone through the powerful alien world conquerors and then the mythological gods from various historical backgrounds in so many different movies on both the DC and Marvel side of things that I can't really even keep them straight anymore. All I know is that nothing's really standing out anymore and it's all sort of blending into one archetype. This one went mythological again with the Daughters of Atlas. Minor spoiler warnings ahead about the villain arc, so if you don't want to know anything, just skip ahead, I'll put a timestamp. I actually liked how it started off with three of them working together and then sort of slowly reveals that one of them is a bit more malicious with their intent than the others. The problem for me was that by the time they work it down to the one that's going to be like the main villain for the end of the movie, she just didn't feel that menacing or intimidating at all. I think they sort of missed an opportunity by not having Helen Mirren's character be the one that ends up as the main villain, just because she's by far the best actress in the movie. And I like Lucy Liu and everything, don't get me wrong, but I gotta be honest, she just wasn't really doing anything here. I don't know, man, overall I was pretty disappointed with this one, to be honest. I wasn't expecting a ton, but the first one I considered to be somewhat of like a hidden gem superhero movie, if that's even a thing. But the second one just fell right back into all the traps of a generic superhero sequel that we've all seen like a dozen times over the past decade. It's pretty much as mid as it gets. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this movie, let me know what you liked about it in the comments below. I'm definitely curious. That's all I gotta say. Like and subscribe if you got a second, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.